Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Friday, the 19th day of September, 2025. It is Friday of the 24th week of the year, 24th week in ordinary time. It is also the feast of Saint Januarius. So the San Gennaro festival in New York City kicks off today, or concludes today. I forget which one it is. But the great Italian festival in Little Italy in New York City. It is also my mother Janet's birthday, who was kind of named for Saint Januarius. So happy birthday to my mother, and a happy San Gennaro Day to everybody of Italian and who wants to be of Italian descent. It is picture day here at TFS. You can see Miss Baker's kindergarten class over there getting their pictures all taken and getting ready. Mine was already taken. On this Friday of the 24th week of the year, Letters of Timothy continues. That first letter to Timothy continues. Now talking to those who would become the overseers, the coordinators, those who would take care of people. Again, the idea of bishop as it was back then. Those individuals now being asked to be aware again of those who are trying to approach the faith as a philosophical argument. Because again, this is where Christianity and Greek and Roman philosophy were kind of coming into conflict with each other. Again, a philosophy different than what it is that Jesus is presenting, because basically philosophy is more or less a personal disposition, a personal idea, a personal way of approaching things, whereas Christianity was always meant to move from a communal basis and from an understanding of us together as called by God and living a life together as a people of God, and what that calls us to be, what that calls us to do in our lives. Those who are going to be leading the community are asked to be guarded, against those who are trying just to turn this whole movement into a personal philosophy, because it is not. If they teach contrary, to what it is that the gospel is, saying that it is the gospel, they're actually just puffing up themselves. Again, personal ideas and personal ways of approaching things. So they are conceited and they are without understanding, and all these are the kinds of things that Paul will list to Timothy to be not when it comes to their own ideas of leadership and their own ideas of being these guides, for these early Christian communities. Within that, again, Paul asks these bishops, these overseers, however they stylize themselves, always to be conscious of their calling by God, again, to something greater than just personal achievement and personal success. That to be a person who embraces this has to be a servant always, a servant constantly, to not worry, again, about criticisms and not worry about all of those things that sometimes will stand against what they're trying to do. Because if they have been selected by God and anointed by God and had the hands laid on them by those who know that God is working within them, then they should have nothing to fear, and they should be able to perform their duties as is necessary, the responsibilities as the community needs them to do so. In Luke's gospel today, basically it's a very simple gospel. Jesus goes about preaching throughout various towns, and then there are a number of women whose names are mentioned, a number of women who also were said to accompany Jesus and his 12 and the apostles and things like that. One of them is Mary Magdalene, and this is where Mary Magdalene's name comes in. And of course, this is not the same woman who anoints Jesus's feet with oil and washes his feet with her tears and dries them with her hair, and she's a person of ill repute. She, it says, has 7 demons cast out of her. Why and what these demons were doing in her and where did they go? We never hear. But this is where it gets, Mary Magdalene gets an inappropriate characterization that there was something terribly wrong with her, that she had these demons in her and whatever. So this is not the case. This is not the case, because again, it also mentions Susanna and the wife of the steward of Herod Chusa, and all these, again, these other women who were a part of Jesus's community. Again, women who did not have much to say, and women whose role was sometimes very eclipsed within the ancient world, become people who not only follow Jesus, but they're also people of means who are able to supply the early Christian community with funds and with the ability to continue their mission. Without these women, Jesus and his apostles would never have perhaps moved forward in spreading the gospel, because they would need help, to transport things and to be fed and to be sheltered and stuff like that. And so these women provide this, and the gospel attests to this. And here we see, a few of their names, which should not be forgotten in history. A blessed day, St. Francis and people of God. A blessed San Gennaro festival. May the Lord give you his peace.